Hello, and welcome to today's presentation of the Nevada Primary Care Association's Community Connector. Nevada Primary Care Association helps community health centers provide exceptional medical, dental, and behavioral health care to Nevadans by advocating policy changes, providing training and technical assistance, and creating economies of scale through program management. For more information regarding our PCA or to subscribe to our newsletter, please visit us at nvpca.org. Before we get started, I would like to go over logistics and housekeeping items for today's presentation. During the presentation, please mute your phone or computer so we do not have feedback or background noise. Also, please do not put your phone on hold or we will hear your hold music. You will have the opportunity to submit your questions to the presenter by typing your questions into the Q&A box. You may send in your questions at any time during this presentation. Today's presentation will be recorded and slides will be available to participants. So the NVPCA Community Connector is a platform that you can use to connect your patients to community-based organizations in the state of Nevada to help the patient find free or reduced costs organizations to help your patients connect to resources for anything they have as in regards to food insecurity, transportation, housing, and medical, and a lot more. To log into the Community Connector, you can go to our website at www.nvpca.org. And on the home screen, you can click on the Read More Community Connector to go into the login page. When you click Read More, it brings you to the home page of the Community Connector. And as an FQHC staff, you will choose this site to log into your profile and access you created on the Community Connector. This page, you will just enter your email and password to log in. And this will bring you to the Community Connector homepage. So starting out today's presentation, I'm going to show you how to do a general search for a patient you're working with before creating a patient profile for them. I will show you later in the presentation on how to create a patient profile. And when you create a patient profile, you'll be able to store any referrals that you have sent on behalf of a patient to a CBO. Starting out, you will type in your patient's zip code to identify all the available CBOs the patient can connect with. This will bring you to the search screen, and you have two options to search. You can look by housing, goods, transit, health, money, care, education, work, and legal. If you hover over one of those icons, it's going to bring you a drop-down list, and you can choose from these different categories. The one that we chose for this example is help pay for housing, and that breaks into another list that shows you if you click on help pay for housing or internet or phone, there is 19 CBOs that could possibly your patient can benefit from by connecting them to that CBO. Or you can use the search bar and just type in a keyword or a program name you're looking for to bring up a list of those programs. For today's example, we are going to use the NVPCA training demo. So this training demo is just an example, it's not an actual program, but it just gives you an overview of what a CBO business card has, showing the summary and the details for today's presentation. When I typed in training demo NVPCA, it showed me 61 results that had result terms that included training demo and NVPCA. Now, this could be a lot of CBOs to go through to look to connect your patients. So there is ways you can filter it down to look at less than 61 CBOs. The first filter you can use is the personal filter. This one is just based on your patients. You can narrow down the search of CBOs to the age of your patients. CBOs can identify if there's certain age groups or ranges they're working with. Also, if they are in the armed forces or used to be, if they have any disabilities, looking for student information. So choosing any of these boxes will narrow down the search, the 61 CBOs that were identified when I did the search. The next option you have is the program filter. CBOs can identify how to contact them. So your patient might decide they want to visit in person than applying online. So you can look for CBOs that allow your patient to visit in person. You can look at the hours they're open. If the CBOs are free or at a reduced cost for their services. And a great feature on this page is if your patients speak other language than English, you can select the language that your patient speaks and reads and writes in, and then the Community Connector will change that from English to the language for your patient to read about the CBO in the platform. Some of the CBOs do base their program on income. So you can enter your patient's income information to identify CBOs that will fit into their household income range. For today's presentation, to narrow down the searches from 61 CBOs, I chose in the program filters any CBOs that support the Armenian language. So we dropped down from me searching 61 CBOs down to 14 programs, which are more manageable to look at. Now I'm going to go over the CBO business card. Whenever you pull up CBOs on the Community Connector, you're going to get a list of business cards that provide a summary of the CBO. For our example, in our training demo, we recognize our main services are peer support and support groups. Our secondary services are our temporary shelter, and we service anyone in need, all ages. And then for next steps, it will give you a general overview of what you can do. So for the PCA training demo site, we said that you can email one of our staff members to get more info. And then also our hours of operation. So this is just a quick summary. If you want to learn more about the CBO, you will choose the More Info tab. In the More Info tab, this will go into a detailed explanation of the CBO. So on this one, we talked about all the languages that we served, the cost, our website. This you can print out and give to your patient if they prefer a printable document of the CBO to bring home with them to review. The next option you have in the business card summary is you can save this CBO to your favorites. So if you identify a CBO that you use on a regular basis, you can create a folder, and when you log into the Community Connector, you can go to your folders and click on the CBO instead of trying to search out the CBO like we did at the beginning of this presentation when we were trying to find the NVPCA training demo. With this, you can save it to yourself or you can share with your team members in your organization. The next option you have is you can share the CBO information. You have the choices to send an email to your patient or send it by text. You'll put in your patient's information. You'll put in your information to your patient, and then a message is, here's the information for the CBO we discussed for their records. When you share a program with your patient, this will be the email generated they will receive, and they will receive a link to click on the program. You can save notes, and in the notes section, you can share it for yourself or to your entire staff. So here you can communicate with yourself or your staff regarding the CBO, and you can talk about maybe a representative that you worked with that was a great experience, and share that with your staff to communicate internally or just with yourself. And then you can make any suggestions. So if you happen to notice there's any missing or out of date information regarding the CBO, you can send us a message. The data team will validate the information and then make any updates to the CBO. The next section we're going to review is how to refer a patient to a community-based organization on the NVPCA Community Connector. On the bottom right side of the business summary card, you're going to have a refer box. When you click on this refer box, this will allow you to make a referral through the Community Connector. You will just need to fill out this template of your patient's information to refer your patient to the CBO. And you'll let the CBO know the best way to reach your patient. You can also make comments to the CBO to let them know that your patient will contact the CBO to schedule an appointment. Or if your patient speaks Spanish and you were like a representative from the CBO to be able to speak to your patient in Spanish. When you refer your patient, the CBO and the patient will receive an email letting them know that you have referred them to the CBO for services. The patient and the CBO can reply in this email by choosing one of these links, letting you know if there's additional information required and they want you to give them a call, that they are near capacity and they can't help them, or they had to refer them somewhere else. So this is nice that you will be able to close the loop for the referral to your patient to a CBO, and you'll have the option that you can update the referral, the CBO can, or the patient can. So this is just a screenshot showing that the FQHC staff, CBO, or patient can update the referral by clicking the link through the notification email. And these are the options that everyone can choose from to update and close the status on the referral. There are some organizations, such as like the state of Nevada, if you refer your patient to apply on their website for like Medicaid or food stamps, the Community Connector will refer you to apply on the state of Nevada's site. Or a CBO might identify that they would like for your patient to contact them directly. What's great about this is you can still log a referral to your patient's patient profile, which we'll be talking right after this slide. So even if you don't directly submit a referral through the Community Connector, you can still log it to keep track of it. Now I'm going to show you how to create a patient profile inside the Community Connector. In the upper left-hand corner of the home screen, you'll choose the people I'm helping and select people. This is the home screen for the people that you're helping. So any existing patient profiles that you have created will be on the left side. And if you want to create a new patient profile, you will just click the Get Started link right here. When you create a patient profile, there's only 4 bits of information you will need: the patient's name, email address, phone number, and zip code. You can also set up goals for your patients. So if you have a patient who would like to go to a peer support group, and that's one of the goals you would like to achieve working with your patient, you can set up that goal, and then you can add notes that the patient went to a meeting or they're searching for a support group they're looking for to keep track of the patient's goals. You can have as many goals for your patient as you want, and there's a lot of different status types that is shown here on the right side of the choices you have to set up goals for your patient. And once again, the status you can update at any time if it's in progress or if it's been completed. And this is just an example of a goal that was created, showing that it's been completed and that the patient went to a meeting. In your patient profile, when you choose to connect your patient to a CBO, you will log the referral to close the loop for the patient receiving services by the CBO. So for this example, we sent the patient to a food pantry. We got the status update, which either the FQHC staff, the CBO, or the patient can update if they received help or they need further assistance. And you can connect this to a goal, and then you can save any notes down below. Part of the Community Connector is you can fill out an SDOH assessment form. The assessment form that's provided is the Prepare assessment tool. And what's great about this tool is it's about 21 questions that the patient fills out to identify their SDOH needs. So this is just a copy of the beginning of the Prepare assessment tool that you will fill out on behalf of your patient. When you complete this assessment, the Community Connector will customize and find CBOs based on your patient's matches in the community. So after I filled out the Prepare assessment tool for this patient, it brought me into a session. So anything I do during the session will automatically connect to the patient's profile and update. And based on the Prepare assessment tool, there were 79 identified CBOs the patient can identify to and benefit from. Your patient does have the option to create their own account if they want to do any searches on their own. What's great is when your patient signs up to create their own patient profile, if they use the same email address that you used when you created their patient profile for your tracking and records, anything the patient does and refers themselves to will connect to your platform. So you'll be updated if the patient is looking by themselves for resources, and if they're referring themselves, you can see what resources they are referring themselves to as well. I would like to thank everyone today for attending today's presentation. You will receive a survey on the presentation, and we would appreciate if you can complete the survey and provide feedback. On behalf of the Nevada Primary Care Association, thank you for joining us and have a great rest of your day.